Well, welcome back to our vlogs. It's been a while. I think we stopped for a summer break and it became a very long break. But we're back filming. Today is the first filming day of 2022. And today we've come down to South West Wales. And in terms of revival history, one of the most well-known places, Maria Chapel in Loughor. And today we have a real treat. Our guest today is Kevin Adams, all the way from the States, and he's here live. Hello, Kev.
Hello. You have a treat, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, Kev,
Yeah.
those who maybe haven't met you before, you're from Loughor, well,
No.
Llanelli
I'm from Llanelli, yeah.
originally, and now?
And now I'm a pastor in Boston, US, yeah.
Brilliant. And
For the
you-
last 18 years.
Brilliant. And then, now, in one of the first vlogs I did here, I talked about my interest in revival and church history and where it came from, and I've blamed you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'll take all the...
So
if it's good.
it's all good.
The good
It's
you
all
heard
good.
is from me.
It's all
the
good.
mistakes are not mine at all.
And you wrote a book on the 1904, you did a coffee table book on the 1904,
Yeah.
and a DVD on the 1904
That's right.
revival.
That's right. That was in about 2003. So we were first there before anyone else had done it. So it was great. It really went well because everyone came to us. I became, for a few short months, the go-to person on the Welsh revival, simply because, you know, we got the book out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, yeah.
It's great, and it's a brilliant book and a great DVD. It's kind of documentary, but with acting in as well.
Yes, yeah, it's on YouTube these days. You can look at it there. You can buy your own copy, etc. We don't make any money from that anymore. I'm not sure we made anything in the first place. But it's been great. It's been fun, and that took me to the States. And I'm, to my now, church historian wife. So, you know, so it's a bit of romance there.
Which is, well, it's always good. It's always good.
Always good. Just a bit. Not too much. You've got to be careful.
I know. No, there is a link there because
Yeah.
our DVD, we've got all our backers here who have helped fund it. Also, Union School of Theology with Daniel Rowland Centre, they've helped fund it as well. And your wife is linked to Union.
Yeah, through Union. She's on the board of Union. Just come on the board of Union. She's a professor at Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary. Teaches church history and spiritual formation. And she's the daughter of Gwyn Walters, who was one of the key people in the founding of the Evangelical Movement of Wales back in the 40s. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did my dissertation on him for my
You
masters.
did, of course you did.
Yeah,
of course
no,
you did.
it's all
linked. Yeah, Providence is a wonderful thing. I think, yeah, I do.
It's good. Right, we'll go inside and have a look, and we'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
After taking nearly a year's break, getting back in it, I forgot how much work Dan has to do. I think one of the constant things in these vlogs is kind of showing all that happens behind the scenes. I'm just standing here holding something ready to read at a given point, but Dan is actually doing everything. What are you doing now, Dan?
I'm trying to re-educate myself on how to put this flipping prompter together. It's a new one. I haven't used it in a while. I'm just trying to work out how to put it together. But yeah, I think it's been a bit longer than a summer break, hasn't it?
Very longer.
It's actually been more like an 8-month break, isn't it?
It has been, yeah.
I have an excuse. I've been making another film, which I was obliged to make because I agreed to make it before this one. And then COVID happened, and so it's all blame COVID and blame lockdown. That's my excuse.
And I've got no excuse apart from I only do what Dan tells me to do. So, yeah.
He's in the clear.
Which is good. Right, let's get back to it.
So, I think, did you say that you actually met Evan Roberts?
Yes, as a boy, I would go up to London to my uncle, and he was there, and he and Sam would take me out for sites. But that was the time that people were saying that there was a bit of backsliding going on.
Oh, right.
Because my uncle took him to the Bowls place in Paddington.
To the Bowles place?
So they were playing bowls together. And of course, this was right beyond
the pale for Evan Roberts.
Roberts, you know.
And he smoked, didn't he, towards the end of his life?
So they say that, I don't know about that. But,
That's a great story. I love that. I love that. And this is them, is it? This is 37.
37.
At Machynlleth. Machynlleth in 1937. So they remained friends for years after the revival.
So one of the great things in filming out is meeting local people and sometimes people who have links. And with the 1904 revival, actually, it is possible still to see some of those links and then to have some unpublished access to things, as we're seeing here.
That there's Evan Roberts when he's older. Uncle Sam Jenkins, him, taking Evan Roberts to the beach. Wow. That Tywyd Cadw Rain, mae rhain yn ffantastig. We just gweithio ti, I wish I'd have known about them when we published the book, but I didn't know.
No,
these are gold. They are gold, they really are.
He wanted to go to see Lloyd-George. Lloyd-George wasn't converted.
No, definitely not.
But he said that revival had gone through Wales like a tornado. It had affected his electioning really at the time, because people were going to the revival meetings rather than going to the election.
So he went to the revival meetings. Lloyd-George went to the revival meeting in Carnarvon, These are genuine pages from the Evening Express. These are secular newspapers, and they tell us a lot just looking at them. Father Christmas says, "This is very different to how I found you last year, Thomas. What can I thank for it?" Converted Collier. God and Evan Roberts. It's just magnificent. And there was a pile of these, the sort of memes of the day or the cartoons of the day, stories in detail, what someone said, how they reacted. So you can go to an Evan Roberts meeting and know what happened. A fan cyrhaedda fy nefoedd a gweld fy waredwr mewn bri, mi ganaf glod yn oesoedd, am achub hyn y rebel fel fi. I think then he would go, fel fi, fel rhywbeth fel
It was English Sankey hymn.
Sankey hymn, translated.
Like me.
Yeah.
He was up with Sandfields Davis up in Beaufort. He asked my uncle, are you willing for me to translate that from English to Welsh?
Yeah.
So, he translated it, and then my uncle said, well, put rebel instead of sinner.
Oh yeah, rebel is far better.
So that's how it changed.
Yeah. These are museum pieces. Yeah. I haven't seen this one before. I've seen lots of stuff. I've never seen this one before. This is incredible. That is just utterly fantastic. Deity's English, his yoke is easy. Wonderful story of love. Oh, goodness. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, our second location for this day back filming is this lovely chapel. Here we are with Dan. And can you guess where we are yet? We are in Bethlehem, in Sandfields, in Port Talbot. So in this part, actually, we're looking more at post-1904 and asking the question, what happened to the church? Has it all been decline? Or has there been moves of God? So, for example, the ministry of Dr. Martyn Lloyd-Jones, the emergence of the EMW, Christian unions, and so much more. So we're doing some filming here, which is lovely, Dan, isn't it? There he is again. He's busy, and I'm just sitting watching. Sorry, Dan.
No, you do what you do best. It's good. We play to our strengths. So I do this, he does that.
Brilliant. Excellent. Carry on, Dan. Interestingly, when you go and visit these different spots, some of the churches and chapels we've been to have been ruins, nothing there. Some have been closed down or sold into houses. A few are still gospel concerns and are going on, and Sandfields, Bethlehem in Port Talbot is one of those. So it's wonderful to come. But one of the nice things here is sometimes even the living churches are turned into museum pieces. Which as a Welsh nonconformist makes me a little bit uneasy. And what I love here is when you come and look at Lloyd-Jones's pulpit, it's not Lloyd-Jones's pulpit, it was actually replaced after he left. Gwyn Williams, who many of you will know, a great pastor in Wales and in Welsh Wales, he tells the story of when he came to be the minister here. Two ladies took him to one side when he started and said, you know, Reverend Williams, the test of your ministry will be, will you get the old pulpit back? Well, the old pulpit isn't back. It's a new pulpit, but the building is still beautiful. But it's also used, and now it's a live, vibrant church. And we've got the minister with us today who's let us in. Jeremy Bailey, how are you, sir?
Hello, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Now, some might be watching this and go, no, I'm sure I've seen Jeremy somewhere before, on a stage in the summer. You run the ABBA conference?
Well, I wouldn't say I run it. I chair it. But there's a committee that works alongside me, but I'm sort of the face of the conference at the moment. So yeah, in terms of the EMW, that's what I do in the summer.
And today we're looking, really filming today, the 20th century, and trying to ask the question, you know, has anything happened in Wales since 1904, 1905, which sometimes is the kind of misconception. So we've come here to look at the kind of gospel preaching of Lloyd-Jones and the kind of growth of that kind of reclamation of Puritan preaching and the gospel in Wales. Also the beginnings of the EMW and all that happens there. And so tell us a little bit about the EMW today, the Evangelical Movement of Wales. It's doing a lot of different things to reach out and encourage.
Yes, yeah, the EMW have been at work for many, many years, and our main work is seeking to encourage and support Christians throughout Wales. And we've done that now over the years through providing things like the conference. That's one of the great things. Other conferences have developed over the years. As well as conferences, there's camps, and there is a magazine. There's a Welsh side of the work as well as an English side of the work, so we're seeking to reach all language speakers. There are also bookshops that we seek to support. And in various ways, we're trying to encourage Christians and provide something for them that they might not be able to get just within their local church, showing that there's a bigger picture of Christians in Wales.
Which is wonderful. And one of the things you've just been showing me again, one of the things I love coming is you kind of see these things. And in your hand, you've got the minute book of the church from the time of Lloyd-Jones. And we were just reading, looking at kind of the statistics that Lloyd-Jones comes in.
Yeah, this is the only remaining item in the church from Lloyd-Jones's day. Everything else in the church has disappeared. I have photographs, but this is, I think, the prized possession, because this is a minute book of the meetings that Lloyd-Jones had with his church leadership during the years that he was here. And to me, the most fascinating thing is to read his report at the beginning of every year. January of every year, they had a meeting, pastor's report on how many people had been added to the church. And year on year, you discover that there is 100, 150 people added to the church. But even that is not, to me, the most interesting thing. It is that initially there is a little phrase that says about people who've been expelled from the church. And Lloyd-Jones clearly didn't like this phrase. So he changed it. And in the minute book, there's a note saying, not expelled, but were removed from the membership list, having proved themselves unworthy of church membership. And that was his view. People were added to the church very quickly on profession of faith, but equally their names were removed if they themselves proved that they weren't worthy of church membership. The other interesting thing is that every year the report is made on how many people have been converted from the world, and then how many had received transfers from other churches, and how many had been transferred to other churches, and how many had died. So again, he was making a distinction, wasn't he? His great passion and heart was for conversions. That's the only true addition to the Church of Christ. So it's a lovely book, and I just love reading it. And some of the little things that the doctor did and didn't do, I think are very revealing. So I'm hoping to get it digitised and make it more widely available.
I mean, it's fascinating to see that. One of the things I've noticed in the history of revivals in Wales since 1735, late 1700s, is that at the start, particularly with the Methodists and the Sayats, there was a big emphasis on knowing who was in there and admission and membership. And it seems that as the years go by, kind of, 1859 onwards, people are added into membership very quickly with no kind of real profession, but then aren't taken out. It's as if they're more increasingly obsessed by numbers. And actually then the longevity and kind of genuineness of conversion is a little bit sceptical. So I love the fact that with Lloyd-Jones here, I love that he brings them into membership, but then they get to prove it, which is a good point.
I think that is, I think, one of the central reasons why the church here is still continuing. You mentioned the fact earlier that a lot of churches have become museums, some have closed, others become liberal. To me, one of the great causes for thanksgiving to God about this church is that since Lloyd-Jones left, there have only been 7 pastors. Now, we're talking about 84 years, something like that. Just 7 pastors in 84 years. And every one of those pastors has been evangelical. The gospel has been preached. And the same care over the membership has been exercised. So he set a trend, really. You do need to be careful about who's in membership. Today, for instance, we've only got 34 members. Now, that is incredibly small in comparison with the history of the church. But that doesn't reflect the numbers of people attending. It doesn't say that we've got a lot of families, a lot of children coming. But we are just as careful about who we admit into membership as he was. I hope we are, anyway. It's important. And the gospel has been preached through all of those years. In the end, that's why churches continue. It's because the true word of God is being preached, and the Holy Spirit honours that. And we've got to be so careful about that, haven't we? If we get obsessed with numbers, you end up on that slippery slope into liberalism, I think.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much. It's been great to come in and to see you. And if you haven't booked in for the Arbor conference yet, book in, and you can see Jeremy there. And there we are. That's the end of our vlog today. Hopefully Dan and I will be back out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And we're going to the greatest place in Wales next, Ammanford. I know. Wait and see.